we do have interesting stuff coming.
Please excuse the guy. I actually was alone in the agenda because typically we don't let him out of Greece, but he's just here to help me out in this session. We'll talk about Windows Azure in the cloud, and we hope to actually get you into developing in the cloud and thinking about cloud in everything you do during your student life and your working life. My name is Maarten Baljouw. I work for Real Dolmen, also one of the companies present at Tech Days and Students to Business Days. I'm from Antwerp, where we are very futuristic. We even had a metro-style logo previously, before actually Microsoft was using the metro layout, so we're quite good, I think. Yeah. I'm a Windows Azure MVP, which basically means I don't get to sleep that much. Panos, by the way, is also an Azure MVP, and he doesn't sleep at all, I think. I'm working on web and cloud, so everything related to ASP.NET, jQuery, all the web stuff. You can find me blogging about that on my blog. And if you're really interested in Windows Azure in the cloud, just join us at the AZUG, which is a user group where we have a monthly meeting about everything that has to do with Windows Azure.
And that's me. That's the easy version of my name. The full version of my name is not existent. I'm still a Windows Azure MVP. I don't sleep at night. I have a very cool blog. Please go and follow it. Don't follow his. Mine is better.
But his design sucks.
It's on WordPress, sorry. And I work for Devateam as a full-time geek. And my version of my name is Panos. Okay, but seriously, I have nothing to do with that. Okay, nothing. And I don't know if they're good sandwiches or not, but that's, well, never mind.
Okay, let's dive into
the interesting stuff.
Yeah. Actually, before I was planning this session, I did a call on Twitter because I didn't know what to tell in 55 minutes about the cloud. The cloud, it's a big thing. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there, but 55 minutes is really short to tell something about that. So I did a call on Twitter, and some people answered it. And actually, we have a personalized session for you because you helped us build this deck. And one of the first questions was, when is cloud appropriate for a business?
Is the guy in the room?
Davy, are you in the room?
No.
Are you asleep?
You miserably failed to bring them here.
Yeah, whatever. You're from Greece.
at least I have a job. So.
Okay, so why would you use cloud? Just to save time and money. That's what it's all about. On cloud, you will share resources. Everyone will be on there. You will have a shared machine, which will host some virtual machines, and you will save money by using that. Also, because it's less expensive to work on, it's easier to do new stuff. If you have a great idea, and where you previously would have to buy new servers and all those infrastructure stuff that we don't really like. You can just deploy on Windows Azure, test something, pay for it, just for what you use. And afterwards, if it's not interesting, just discard it, throw it in the bin, and get on to the next project. So that's really cloud.
Who's more on the IT side?
Okay, sorry if I offended you.
Yeah.
I will do that again.
Seriously.
This talk, seriously. Sorry.
It's all about mocking you guys. So.
Yeah.
You'll be out of job soon. You know that, right? Belgium is next on the list.
Okay. We'll just do some quick extra introduction to the cloud, because the cloud, okay, is cheap. It's less expensive to run your software on, but it's also usage-based, which means if you don't use it, you will not be paying. If you use it a lot, you will be paying, well, not a lot, but more.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Huh?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you have to pay more, either your architecture sucks,
yeah,
or you're doing great business.
So you're going to be, well, the usual thing we say, it's the next Twitter, next Facebook, but yeah, I don't think that will easily happen anytime soon.
Another thing, who was the IT pro guy again? The one guy?
The bald guy there.
Okay.
I can see you.
Cloud is automated. So This means that you will no longer have to reboot your servers. You will no longer have to reinstall Windows, to reconfigure, to tell people you're actually reconfiguring Windows or running Windows Update while you're asleep. No more of that in the clouds. The platform will do that for you. Resources are managed, which means people will be monitoring it, processes will be monitoring it, external services will be monitoring it, and you don't actually have to care about whether your server is up or down. The platform will make sure your application is still running. It's always running, well, at least almost always, but we say always.
You have a very cool portal to go and look at it. So
yeah, we'll show you.
If it says service disruption, don't believe them. Usually it's not true, but
it's also elastic. It doesn't matter how much users you have. You can always scale up, scale down. You can add more resources. You can add more virtual machines. Your application can grow depending on the amount of users you have and the amount of usage of your application that you have. And with that, because you can scale up, you can scale down. So on busy moments, you can scale up. And when there's almost no users, for example, at night, you can scale down. I can imagine there are other kinds of websites that will scale up at night and scale down during the day. But
students know about them.
And there's also two types of clouds. The public ones and the private ones. So you can have cloud in your own data center, which is the fun the IT guy will like. But we are talking about the public cloud, Windows Azure. This is one thing we really, really want to stress. You pay only for what you use. If you want to make backups of your video collection that you legally obtained, you can do so on Windows Azure.
I can show you a cheap way to do it.
It's cheap, it's simple. I think it's 12 cents per gigabyte.
Yeah, plus the traffic.
Yeah, true, but you won't pay a lot if you don't store a lot, and if you store more, you will pay more. It's that simple. Some common patterns. Well, those are these. If you have a service that's always up and then goes down and then comes up again and then goes down again, for example, if you're doing payroll processing or you want to have a forum that's active only during the exam periods, you can just host something, put it down again afterwards, and you'll be good. You won't be paying at the moment the server is not running.
Or it could be batch transactions. So, for example, you collect information for, let's say, a survey or something, and you want to process all that information. You just bring up some instances up, put the data there, process, get the results, bring it back down. You only pay for the amount that you only used for that time that the machines were running. And yeah.
One of the other scenarios is the growing fast scenario. Who of you is going to be the next Twitter or the next Facebook? Okay, one guy. Good luck. It may be possible, but I think the growing fast scenario is more interesting if you just have an idea and you want to check it if it's a viable idea that you have. You
can just put huge interest. It was obvious.
Yeah, if you want to host Twitter, go ahead. You can just start with it, and if it grows, you can scale up. And if it doesn't, well, don't scale up. Just put it down and don't pay for it anymore. And then we have the bursts.
Yeah, unpredictable bursting. Michael Jackson dies, sites go down. France versus Belgium, you never know. So, news. Common examples are news, and the example I gave of Michael Jackson is actually true. So, when Michael Jackson died, the next day the Amazon MP3 store went down. There were so many people actually trying to buy stuff from the Amazon. Dude, you're blinding me.
Dude, it's just to get you out of talking. This one was from a few weeks ago with the snow. This is what happens. Services either degrade or they just go down. So these are the bursts we are talking about. If you were in this traffic, you would not like a slow website. You want immediate information and you want to find where it's still green. Apparently nowhere, but only in the far west. But yeah, well, we'll just continue. I'll do jokes about Greece again.
Yeah, at least we don't have that problem.
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
And so the Amazon store went down, and that was caused because Michael Jackson died. Now we had Whitney Houston going, Houston off. Well, never mind. And
she took a bath. That's all.
Yeah. Anyway, so Well, at least they were prepared and not the same thing happen again. But we also have predictable bursting. So let's say that you're approaching Christmas session or we're approaching Easter or anything like that where it's a normal period where e-commerce sites, they have peaks because a lot of people are trying to buy gifts or whatsoever. Who put a gift for Valentine's Day? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Your examples suck.
What?
Yeah, just
They're
saying.
already in love, so they don't care.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
about booze and... Never mind.
We'll just continue. Another question we had was, what is Windows Azure and how does it relate to Amazon or the other clouds that are available in this world? So, Johan, I don't know if you're in the audience. You can tell. If you're an IT pro, don't tell, but...
It's 2 and 2.
Okay.
Nobody was here.
Dude. Okay, you may have heard of the ASAS, not the ASAS, the ASAS, the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And this is actually what all this cloud stuff is all about. All the vendors are in a different area of this spectrum. For example, Amazon is more on the infrastructure as a service side. They give you a virtual machine, they provide you networking, they provide you routing and all that stuff. But from the moment you have your virtual machine, you still have to install all your software on it. You have to make sure you have a database server running on it if you want to use Amazon. It's more work. It's, well, if you're an IT guy and you don't like hugging servers, Amazon is ideal for you. Yeah.
Or you just buy servers and hug them.
That, yeah, absolutely.
It's called object love.
Okay. You do platform as a service, dude.
I do platform as okay. So platform as a service is how it should be. Period. Seriously, Windows Azure gives you all the benefits without having to care about all the nasty details about, let's say, upgrades on the operating system and networking and setting your own load balancers and all that stuff. You just don't care. You just put a package. I think there are a couple of slides that they explain exactly how the deployment model works. But the whole idea is that you just create a package, you give it to the platform, and you only care about your application and your data, and that's it. And when we say about data, we're not referring necessarily to, let's say, some kind of storage or databases in general. We're just referring to data that your application is using. Okay? So that's the 2 things you only care about. One is putting the application up in that packaged format, which, of course, there are tools to help you to do that and all that stuff. And then you just care about the data that you consume. Windows Azure provides services for that, SQL Azure and Windows Azure storage with tables, queues, blobs, and all that weird stuff that you're going to see as a small overview. And frankly, it's the best way to do it because we also have a part which is, well, it's supposed to be as infrastructure as a service, but with all the benefits of platform as a service. So you can customize a VM up to, you know what a VM is, right? The virtual machine. Okay. Well, it's not always implied. So you can customize a VM, deploy that on Windows Azure, and then you can scale that VM with your own software. Well, at the moment it's only Windows, but we can assume that the very...
Yeah, maybe someday,
yeah. Or there will be another evil operating system running on the same platform.
Someday, maybe.
Someday, maybe.
We didn't tell.
We don't know.
Our NDA is still okay.
Yeah, probably.
Good.
But
otherwise, we won't be speaking here next year. Probably.
It's going to be your fault. But okay.
Or Greece.
Yeah, of course. Everything is the fault of Greece. And we have the last one, which is software as a service. Should I do that also?
I'll take it. Okay. Software as a service, basically, who's using Facebook?
Yeah.
Who is not using Facebook? Brave guys.
So you have a life. Good.
Those things are software as a service. You just have a platform that your application is running on, your social network is running on, and you're using it. You can customize the privacy settings, but you can't go into the database and do a select query on all your friends. You can't do that. So basically, Facebook offers you the software. Windows Live offers you the software. Google offers you Gmail, stuff like that. You just consume it and you pay for what you use again, or not. If it's Gmail or Facebook, well, you pay with your privacy, but
Facebook, privacy.
Let's keep that out of the scope. Yeah. Anyway, you're just using the application, and you don't have the possibilities to customize everything. If you go to the infrastructure as a service, you have a possibility to customize everything, to customize your VM, customize your database server that's sitting on there. Well, as you go to platform as a service, you don't have to worry about that. You can still do some stuff, but if you go to software as a service, there's less tweaking and less customizing involved. So, where does Microsoft has the data centers? Actually, Microsoft has a lot of data centers. You see all these different spots, and the green ones are the data centers where Windows Azure is running.
The cool one is missing.
The cool one?
Party data center, Amsterdam.
Yeah, true. In theory, we can't actually disclose the locations of the data center. We can't actually tell them.
Yeah.
But since we stole this slide from Scott Guthrie, we can use the slide.
Who knows geography well enough? Well, it's obvious where they are. So.
We also have a small hint on where the others that are not really mentioned are. They are always in beer cities, where beer is brewed. Well, actually, one beer is brewed in where water comes out of a well. Let's make the server huggers jealous a little bit. I know there are some IT pro guys in here, and they will like pictures of servers and of data centers, so why not go ahead? Also, if you're interested in a video on this topic, there's a link under there. I'm sure it will be somewhere on the internet as well, and you can actually have a video tour through the data center. This is the one in Guinness City, which looks like a regular office building. There's no Microsoft branding on it, just to make it secure and safe, and you don't know where it is.
You can even find the address of it, so.
Yeah. This one is the gate for coming in. Now, if you know the location and you look on Google Maps, that's actually a pretty tough gate. You will have trouble breaking into the data center if the gate is still there. This is the data center while they were still working on it. The roof, there's no roof coming on that. There's no roof for this data center. So what you're seeing here is actually the entire building, and there are some data centers in there. And what you're seeing on top of the roof is actually cooling systems. They're using North Sea cool air to cool the data center in the Guinness City. This is inside. We will see some servers shortly. This is the UPS. Whenever something in the data center fails, whenever power goes down, a generator is started. But of course, a generator takes some time to spin up. And you have to have some source of power to have a few seconds of power left to host your servers. And that's what this is.
Those are actually car batteries.
Yeah, they're just using car batteries to power the data center for a few minutes. Why car batteries? Because it's cheap. It's easy to replace. You go to, I don't know, which garage in the neighborhood of this data center, and you replace the battery. Simple as that. So the batteries, and these are the racks. You see, nice and structured, just a regular data center. But this one is a different kind. This one is in the US.
That was a previous generation. Now we're going to see the next generation.
Yeah. So the one in the Guinness City was actually a previous version data center where there were just servers like the ones you're used to. This one is a more modern one in, it was on the slide, Chicago. And they have giant USB adapters in there. Those are just, well, small connections where they have power, water, electricity, which is power, and networking. Don't laugh with me, boy. Yeah. In these giant USB ports, they just plug in some containers. They take some containers filled with servers and routers and switches, and they just plug them into those things, and immediately they have a lot of extra capacity in the data center. It's another view of those containers. I think I have one taken inside. IT Pro guy, scream.
It's one of the two configurations. One configuration is 2 Well, exactly as it looks. And there is another configuration where everything is on one of the sides, so either left or right. Usually it's right. And that's on the latest generation of those containers that they're fully self-sustained. So they don't need external, they don't need like water to do the cooling. They only need network and electricity, power. And that's pretty much it. Then the whole system is self-sustained. So it has water cooling internally, so it recycles its own water. And I'm not sure if they actually have to refill that, but
I don't know.
Me neither.
And I don't know if I can tell, but yeah, well, whatever. We'll just give you a quick demo on how you can deploy to this nice server farm.
Yeah.
Are you going to be the code monkey, or will I take that role?
Do you look like a monkey, do you?
I'm not going to answer that one.
At least we have the number girl to make fun there. Hi.
Okay, so this is just a regular Visual Studio, and what I'm going to do is just create a new web application. You know, cloud is all internet and stuff, so if you want to write a console application, it's probably not the best choice for Windows Azure. So
why do you say regular version? Is there an irregular version of Visual Studio?
Yeah, it's called Visual Basic, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's create a new MVC web application, just a regular MVC application. And you will see my famous coding skills. Don't laugh.
I'm not. Yet.
Dude, I have your password on my clipboard.
I'm still being polite with you. I need your money from European nations, sir.
Okay, good. So let's say welcome to...
Copy-paste mode.
Yeah, then you lose your password and your demo will fail.
Oh, damn it. Don't copy-paste stuff.
So welcome to Students to Business Day. Just a regular application. I can run this on my machine, and you will see it's just nothing else than what you're used to doing. So just a regular application. Ta-da! My famous coding skills. This is how you make money in real life.
They don't care.
Yeah, you can learn from this.
Yeah.
So I want to deploy this to Windows Azure. So what I'm going to do is just right-click the application and say I want to add a Windows Azure deployment project. And you will get a nice new project in your Visual Studio solution, which has some configuration. You actually have some files in there. There's a service definition file, for example, which is your IT pro guy disguised as an XML file. Seriously.
Have you ever seen an XML file?
You know what XML is, right? You know what XML is?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, it's the angle brackets.
Angle brackets, yeah.
Okay, so this is your IT pro guy. If you want one server, it's like this. If you want 5 servers, typically you call the guy and he's playing some online game and he says, oh, I'll get them next week. 5 servers.
Who plays World of Warcraft? Nobody?
I think we're getting old.
You're just lying.
So
it's gonna look who's... Never mind.
So let's just make this 2 servers. And what I'm going to do next is right-click my project and say Publish. And what will happen is that I have a demo account, which I'll select. And I can just create a new application on my Students to Business demo server.
Demo account is in Asia.
Yeah, actually this demo account was limited to Asia, so I will be deploying to Asia. IT pro guy, give me a server in Asia. Quick. 5 minutes.
Run.
Swim, whatever. So I'm just going to click next, next, and publish a few times. And I'm actually not going to do it because it takes a while to set up. Well, actually, some 10 minutes or something.
8 to 10 minutes, yes.
8 to 10 minutes. And that's because the virtual machine has to be created and your code has to be uploaded. But we're going to show you this application. And in fact,
time is dropping. It's going to be lower sooner or later.
Yeah, and I'm going to show it really quickly. I'm going to log into the Windows Azure portal, which is, again, my IT pro guy, and this time disguised as a Silverlight application, which is loading. It takes too long.
It's windowsazure.com, dude. It's supposed to take long.
Yeah, true. Your application will be faster than this. That is if you're not on beer while coding. Sometimes it works when you're coding on beer, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, we can tell.
No, we haven't tried. They won't believe us. So I have some service running in here, which is the Students to Business Days demo, and I'm just going to open it. And you will see, well, actually, I'll just zoom into it. There we go. You will see this but ugly URL. You can actually map your own domain name to it, but it's this ugly just because it's a staging server. It's not supposed to be public. People will see my Hello World application, and it's not the most pretty one. So I deployed it to staging environment, and then I get this nice and ugly URL. But we're going to swap it to production somewhere later in this talk. So that's how you actually develop for Windows Azure. It's not that hard. It's just a regular application, and you deploy it to some cloud somewhere.
Usually, we sound like sales guys, so don't do that.
OK. Yeah, we have this presentation.
Yeah.
OK, another question. How do the servers work in Windows Azure? Well, we'll do another sales talk. You have a PC?
You forgot to do something. He's the guy in the room.
OK, yeah. His brother? OK, thank you. That's 1 on 3, man.
Doesn't count.
1 on 3, man.
1 on. Call your brother. Let him know that he's famous now. OK, so it's this simple. You have a PC, and then you have a cloud. And if you do this with a real PC, your PC will die. You just throw it into the cloud, and your package will be deployed. But since you're probably smarter than this one, you will know you actually need real servers. So let's dive into this. What will happen is when you deploy your application, first of all, some virtual servers will be provisioned. So in the data center, on all these racks in the data center, some virtual machines will be deployed for you. So it will take some of them, create a new virtual machine on there, load them up there, and there you go, 2 virtual machines. Those some of them are the instances that he just demonstrated before. So we asked for 2 of them, so we get 2. We asked 4, we get 4, and so goes on.
Yeah, exactly. After that, somewhere in the data center, you actually don't know where in the data center your virtual machines will be running. Just to stress this, the left virtual machine will be somewhere in the left part of the data center, and the right one will be in the right part of the data center. If there's a power failure, one will stay up, one will keep running, and the other one will be down, but will be restarted somewhere else in the data center. After that, your application will be deployed. So your code is actually copied onto the virtual machines, and your virtual machines will be able to run the code that you just wrote. After that, networking comes in, and there's an automatic load balancer in there. Who knows what a load balancer is? Who doesn't know what a load balancer is? Who's asleep?
They skipped class.
Huh?
They skipped class.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, beer or load balancers. I don't know.
I would prefer beer also.
Yeah, too. What the load balancer will do is actually provide one virtual IP address to the outside world. You will, when you use your browser, you will connect to one of those load balancers, and the load balancer will actually then distribute traffic to your servers.
But you didn't explain what the load balancer is.
Yeah, the load balancer will actually make sure the first request goes to the first server, the second to the second, the third to the first, and stuff like that. Just round-robin load balancing.
In our case, it's round-robin, but there are other kinds of algorithms that they dictate how the load balancer could work. But in Windows Azure, it's round-robin. But frankly, you shouldn't care about that. It's just an information that we give out.
Learn to speak, man.
Yeah, I'm evolving from a monkey.
OK. Your code, we just showed you some .NET. You can actually use other languages. Who of you is a fan of JavaScript? Oh, nice.
OK, there are only 5.
That's more than I thought.
Java?
Who of you is using JavaScript? Nice.
OK, they're not a lot.
Cool.
I know your faces.
So if you want to run JavaScript applications on Windows Azure, you can use Node.js, for example. Works on Windows Azure. Who's using PHP? You can use it on Windows Azure as well. And in fact, I'll show you later during this talk.
Unfortunately, he will show us.
Yeah. Python, anyone? Python runs on Azure. C++, anyone? This is interesting. C++ people.
Okay, now ask the obvious.
Who uses .NET?
You see, there are much more.
I think the JavaScript guys were close.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to give you a quick hello world on using PHP with Windows Azure. And doing that, actually that's my beard rubbing the microphone if you hear the cracking. My wife says I don't have a beard, but I believe I have a beard.
Yeah, you actually need a train to go from one head to the other.
Silent monkey man. So, scaffolder run. And what I'm going to do is create a new PHP project from the command line. And I'll just say -out equals ctemp. That's where all the important stuff goes.
He wants to look geeky now.
Dude.
Okay. Just pushing buttons.
If you have to type C, my documents, blah, blah, blah.
At least I type on QWERTY, not Azerty.
You do my demo. That's interesting. He uses QWERTY all the time. So. Okay, I'm going to run this. And what it will do is, on my ctemp, it will create a new folder, which is in fact a Windows Azure project. You see the same service configuration file I showed you in Visual Studio. You see a folder where your code will go. So in there, I'll just add a new file, which is index.txt. And in there, I'm going to write some hello world code.
You were even confused.
Ah, dude, stop teasing me.
I think you forgot to close the brackets, no?
There's no closing bracket in PHP, man. We are so evolved. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I have my application. I can add some code in there. So what I'm going to do is package this thing. My Visual Studio, what it did previously was just zip up all the contents and then upload it to Windows Azure and deploy it there. And I'm going to do the same from the command line. And I'm also going to add a dev parameter, which will actually run this installation on my machine. And in fact, before I'm going to do that, I'm going to quickly change my service configuration and also add 2 servers in there. Next thing I'm going to do is say package create -in equals c temp demo.
You seriously remember all those by heart?
Yeah.
How many times did you do that?
5,000.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I actually consume a whole Azure data center.
So that means you're rich.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I'm now zipping this application. And you will see previously we deployed to Windows Azure. But also if you install the Windows Azure SDKs, you will get a fake data center on your PC. You will be able to actually simulate Windows Azure. So what you will get here is a compute emulator.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to say it.
Which is this one. And it will run my application. There we go. In my browser, I have my hello world. And it's running on, I apparently didn't save the file that I was editing. You should have told me.
Why? That way is more fun.
Because now I look stupid. I'm never doing any session anymore with you.
Yeah, that's what you always say.
Also your girlfriend? Never mind. Never mind.
That's what your wife said.
Okay, in infinite scale, so we had .NET on Windows Azure, we also had PHP on Windows Azure, so we're going to infinity and beyond. I have 2 servers, I can change this file and save it, of course, and scale out to, where is it going to end? 6 instances. There you go.
Yeah, you can see the real knowledge of it. Yeah, it's completely accurate presentation slide. Look, look.
I didn't make them.
I don't care. You're presenting them.
You do it. You do this.
92.
And what happens with 92 virtual servers? I think they'll be too young for this.
Nah. You do know what that is, right? Okay. What? And guy actually said Android. Who said that?
That's so 2012, man.
Yeah, we don't hide. Android, seriously?
Dude,
That's Space Invaders. It's a cool game.
they probably
actually have
have
to
the
put
game
coins
on
in it.
Android. I think it will be crappy and it will fail, but they have it on Android, I think.
Yeah. You put coins to play.
They also have it on iPhone, but you will pay big
Push
time.
buttons. It's not touch enabled. Never mind.
Okay, let's scale back. Enough with Space Invaders and especially Android. So you can actually scale your instances. You can go from 1 server to 2 to infinity to 5 again, whatever pleases you or pleases your customers.
In your wallet. In your wallet.
Okay, what happens with applications and data when there's a problem in the data center? Davey wasn't here, so I fail again on the Twitter challenge. Sorry. Now
Not
you,
accepted.
you do this one.
Why?
Because you will fail.
Okay, so this is how it looks now. Something, well, I don't remember. Wait. Yeah, actually something fails. And then when something fails, there's a cool thing fabric controller, which is let's say something somewhere within the data center that monitors everything that happens on the machines. And it knows that your service needs more than one. So at the time that that fails, then it will boot up a new virtual machine, put the operating system and also your package on it. And then at the moment that it's up, it's going to join the load balancer and the old machine is going away. So that effectively means that if something happens and systems fail, like Greek economy, then you have a failover plan. Yes? You have to be, let's say, the magic word, stateless. So there is the development model says that you don't treat your service as the same client, it's going to end up on the same server. You always treat it with a medium layer that takes care of the state. It could be that you serialize your state and you put it into a storage stinky, or you use caching or something like that where you maintain the state. So whenever, it doesn't matter if it fails or not, because it could be that because of the load balancer, you end up on different machines, and that different machine has no idea about the state that it was on the previous machine. So somehow you have to transfer that information. If you absolutely need session state, then you offload it from the machine. You save it somewhere else. And this is something that ASP.NET does anyway with SQL Server serialization for session state, so you avoid anything that has to do with in-memory state. You have to keep it somewhere else. Otherwise, the client might not end up.
That's also an interesting one. Don't keep data in your virtual machine. This virtual machine is just a host executing your application, but nothing more than that. Your application is running on there, but make sure you put your data in some of the other Windows Azure services that are actually meant to store data.
You can use it as a temp storage if you like. The local storage on the machine, you can put temp things on it, like if you're doing a transformation on an image or a resize on an image or something like that, then you can put it there and then store it somewhere else. But you don't treat it as a real server where you can put information on the machine itself. Because if it reboots, everything goes away. So.
This story also applies to data. If you store data in the Windows Azure Data Center, you will actually store your data on at least 3 servers. Microsoft does that for you. You just store it on one location, and they will spread it out across multiple servers. And they will make sure that if one server goes down, the data is copied to a new 3rd server, and that your data is running on there. And you went ahead. You don't like me talking, or?
I sabotaged. Don't mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, that guy had actually a Windows
Vista. What?
It's Vista. And what is the status bar?
He's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's like those photos of
you don't see a taskbar.
Hands are missing or feet are missing or...
You don't see his taskbar. I think his Windows crashed.
Yeah, that's why I mean. It's like a bad photos of feet missing or head missing or... Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, whatever. We'll just continue the presentation. What was this again? Upgrades.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you will probably want to upgrade your software. You will want to have a vNext of your software running on there. So what you typically do is write some code, debug it, drink a beer, write some code,
get drunk,
write some more code,
go out with your girlfriend.
Wake up, delete the code because it sucks, and then actually go ahead and deploy it onto your server. So what you will do is repackage it just the way you did the first time. You create a zip file containing your application, and you will upload it again to Windows Azure. And this same Fabric controller, which monitors your servers and makes sure that if you want 2 servers, you will have 2 of them. 50 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll make it.
You talk a lot.
Yeah, you do the talking.
Then we're screwed. Come on.
Yeah, okay. So you
Push
do
the button. Do the deployment.
You push the button. I'll say when you push the button. Okay, push the button.
I already did it.
Okay, so what happens is you upload the package, and what will happen is the Fabric controller will take 1 server out. Do it again. It was too fast. Now back and then forward.
It's the same.
Okay, so the Fabric controller takes 1 server out, it deploys the software on the server, and then puts it back in there. But while it's doing that, it will take that 1 server out of the load balancer. So your clients will actually only end up on the 1 server which is still running, because the other one is upgrading. But it will do that one by one, just to make sure that all your virtual machines will keep running, that your application will actually keep running.
But there is a guarantee that at any given time, your whole service will not be down. So if you do an upgrade like this, your services are split into 2 big things. They're called, one is the upgrade domain, which is horizontal, and the other one is the fault domain, which is per rack. That means that at any time, if a whole fault domain goes down and a whole upgrade domain, because the service moves and does the update per upgrade domain, at that time, only part of your service will be down. So there is a guarantee for high availability even when you do updates, that your whole system will not go down, your whole service will not go down, and it will just follow up. Does it make sense?
Does he make sense?
I don't. Okay, so
that was the Android guy.
Yeah.
He's mad at you.
No.
I'm also mad at you. Okay, there's another way of upgrading. You can also have your servers running on production, for example, and what you can do is just upload a new package to... You were doing the pushing. Yeah, push.
I'm pushing.
Okay. You upload your packages to 2 new servers, and 2 new virtual machines will be opened. Your application will be deployed on those, and what will happen is push. You went back.
I just crossed the service, never mind.
Okay. This is what happens. The load balancer will change the servers, and immediately, while it takes 15 seconds or something like that, your application will go from 2 servers serving version old to 2 servers serving version new.
Don't forget to delete the old one, because you're still paying for it, okay?
Yeah, just make sure if you have this situation that you also delete the old servers, because actually you're still using these servers, so you will pay for them. Pay for what you use, so be careful about what you are using. This was a tweet of mine that I just slipped into the slide deck. There's more. Now you do the talking.
I'm pushing buttons.
I'll do the pushing.
Okay. So
because actually there's no pushing in this.
You just give me 10 minutes. Yeah, I was sure. Never mind. So building blocks that are left, we have storage, we have messaging, we have a gazillion of other things that we don't have enough time to go over. But let's see very quickly in the next 10 minutes that we have left, what are the storage options. So we have blob storage. Do you know what blob stands for? Who said that? Dude, you're lost in the light, sorry. Yeah, okay. You're just right. SQL Azure databases. That means we have relational databases on the cloud. We had an intention to do a demo of it, but time-wise, yeah, it's not going to happen probably.
You can do a quick demo. We'll skip the rest.
I cannot type on Azure.
I'll do the typing.
So you're going to be the code monkey.
Yes.
So SQL Azure databases, relational databases, and also table storage. Now, table storage is the infamous NoSQL type of things of storing data. In our case, it's a hierarchical table storing facility. Well, that's pretty much it, because
who knows what NoSQL is? Who thinks it's NoSQL?
Do you know what SQL is? Stay with your Android. Seriously, nobody knows what SQL is? SQL?
Dude, you should know what SQL is.
What? Sorry, what?
Okay,
Yes.
that's just a
That
definition.
actually came from two women.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a language that we use to query relational database systems. But
By the way, for that remark, we'll take questions after the session,
Yes.
and he can take the punches
why me?
because you're offensive.
Okay. So blob storage, you can put and store large objects there. The idea is that you can put up to 100 terabytes per account, right? Yeah,
I
it's a
think so.
huge amount of storage that you have available. There is a slide going around that says that on December 2011, the actual storage capabilities and the actual storage available in the data centers were more than 200 petabytes. Yeah, you know what a petabyte is?
If you drink 200 petabytes of beer,
You're
be
going
on
to
a
be
great
dead on the
high.
first 1 gig. That's out of the question. Anyway, so do the demo. Yeah, so we're going to show you how cool it is to use blob storage.
It's actually, well, you set the expectations too high because it's actually not that cool.
So you're going to look like an...
So we were talking about the session state and all that stuff. What you will be doing is...
Your version is not even updated.
It wasn't like this morning.
Demo God.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just
Whatever.
installed something.
The storage is actually just a service sitting somewhere that you can access using HTTP from any language. It's just REST-based, and you can just upload your files there. Just like with a regular file system, you have blob containers, and you can add a new one there. Let's call it Students to Business. I can add files to it. I'll add your passwords to it. I didn't say them.
Upload your video collection.
I'll just upload something. So you can see you can just upload to it, and this is actually the shared file system that your application will be using. So if you have to store data from your application, just store it on the storage services in Windows Azure. Don't store it on the server unless it's temporary, because your server can go down. Store it on blob storage, table storage, or...
And there is something cool for blob storage, which is called CDN, Content Delivery Network. If you activate that on a blob, it means that it's going to be distributed on other data centers also, and it's going to be as close as possible to your users. So, for example, if for some reason you want to send some very, very nasty messages to Greece, and you put a blob video about it, you put a video on blob storage, and you enable CDN, it means that the video, at the moment it's requested for the first time, is going to be propagated locally on a server in Greece, if there is a node of CDN in Greece. But
if no one didn't crush the server.
Probably they set it on fire, but
Yeah.
so maybe it's going to be in Romania or something like that. But it's going to be close to your users, so the latency will be much lower, and yeah, it's going to be much faster loading the video or the information you were pushing through CDN.
Also, another nice thing about that is, you know, Internet Explorer. Sorry, I didn't do that intentionally. Your Windows file system or your Windows internet stack will actually only download at maximum 2 connections from one server. So
Except
what will happen
you change
is,
something in the registry.
if you have something hosted on an application, no one does that. My dad doesn't do that. So if you have something hosted on your services and you also enable the CDN, you will have both the advantage that you have 2 connections to your service, 2 connections to your CDN, and the CDN caches it more locally. So your application will be lots and lots faster if you do it like that. SQL Azure. Do we have time for a demo?
Relational. Well, I think we have like 5 minutes, but do you remember how many slides you have?
No.
Yeah, that's my point. Okay, so very, very quickly, you didn't do any nasty stuff with... No. Okay, so how do you get it? Okay.
It's still open.
It's still open.
The first one, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. So what I'm going to show you is quickly how you can manage a database on SQL Azure, and also I'm going to show you how disturbingly easy it is to create a new one. So if you just want to create a new one, you click Create. You give a name on an Azure keyboard.
Just do something.
You recognize that, right? Yeah. Maya, getting drunk to death? No, never mind. So create in whole, whatever. I'm not putting an E at the end.
That's disturbing, Panos. Seriously.
It says whole. Hi. Better?
The I and the O are not different on QWERTY and Azerty. You just
give it away. So I just created a new database, and that's pretty much it. Okay, instantly you have as many databases as you want to use for your application. The cool thing is that they also exist in 3 replicas. So there is failover, there is load balancing, there are all those cool stuff.
actually, there's one cool trick you can do with SQL Azure as well, because you have actually 3 servers running your database, and you only pay for the storage that you use. You can also add stored procedures in there and have them do some calculations, and that's free CPU power.
Dude, my password is not there.
You type it on Azerty.
I'm already corrupted enough, so.
You're typing bullets.
How do I? Where's the exclamation mark in this keyboard?
Over there.
Do you have to press Alt-ZR or not?
No?
Okay. Now, to this and this, I need Alt-ZR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And it's not going to work. It's in breath as well, of course.
Login is disabled. You tried it before, I think. Do you have any?
No, it says credentials are invalid.
Do you have any production stuff running on there?
Yes.
Because your account is closed.
No. It says credentials are invalid. So that means my password on an Azure keyboard doesn't work.
It means you can't type.
It means... never mind. You just make my demo fail.
You did.
You have an Azure keyboard. Change companies or get a decent keyboard.
Seriously. Oh, man.
Okay, so if we're... damn it. It would look cool if we did that.
It was copied.
It was copied. Of course it was copied.
It was.
Yeah, that's the problem. Was. Last storage option. Go away.
Oh, man. What about backups?
You changed the slides.
I
Where's
changed
table?
Table. No.
Table storage.
It's gone. Okay, what about backups? Frankly, you don't really always need backups, especially not when you're doing sessions in Cinema Complex and your backup is from Greece.
Run.
No, what about backups? Windows Azure will make sure that all your data is replicated at least 3 times across different fault domains. So this means if power goes down in one part of the data center or someone sets a server on fire, it won't matter because your data is still replicated, and it will make sure your data will remain in the data center, and at least 3 instances.
But you do need backups for business continuity. So
Exactly.
It's all about human errors. If you do something and you break something and you don't have backups, the service at this point, at least for table storage, it doesn't have a way for you to go back. Now on SQL Azure, it's a very, very, very requested feature. That we can do a backup, restore in time at some point somehow, or take backups out of it. There are 2 options on the portal right now. One is if you want to do, you can use, well, where is it?
It's in there.
Yeah, that one. You can use the export button where you can you can export data from the database directly, but the problem is that you have to do that. A very commonly requested feature that probably it's coming also at some time in the future is that you can restore within time somehow directly from the portal without you having to take the backups. So you will also have business continuity backups without you having to do it. There are a couple of other ways for SQL Azure to do it. Export is one of them. Data synchronization is another one. That actually has a very cool user interface. Yeah, of course it's going to be slow. And, well, I have it on the party data center. And we create what we call synchronization groups, and then we just add databases on that, and they exchange data. So if you have a local database that connects to your SQL Azure, it can pull data from there and store it locally as a backup. And
we're out of time, actually.
Your clock is wrong. That's it. We actually have...
Let's skip to the conclusion. You with your demos.
How many slides do you have?
We're almost through.
You have 90 slides.
Yeah, but some are hidden.
Doesn't matter.
And you joined me in creating this deck, so what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Developer guides, just go to the website and have a look at...
Hey, you skipped that one.
What about privacy and security? What about privacy and security?
Well, there is a very common problem with the Patriot Act, if you know what it is. And that means that effectively any US company can have access to any US software if it's requested by the, let's say, bad guys on FBI, CIA, or NSA, or whatsoever. And the problem is that we currently have the same situation with cloud data centers. But the European Union and commissions and all that, they're working with the US to change that regulation, because effectively, if US companies are by the law for US, they're breaking the law in EU, which is not acceptable, and vice versa, of course. EU companies who are not accepted to give their data out, they're breaking the law in the US. So we're trying, well, at least there are commissions and all that, that they're trying to regulate those problems, and the biggest failure at this point caused by this was that the British Aerospace was about to migrate to the cloud all their Exchange infrastructure, so email, calendar, and all that stuff to Office 365. But they took it back because there was no way to provide a guarantee that if it was requested, data will not be accessed by the US government. So that's the only, let's say, privacy issue. But in terms of security, you've seen physical security. They're following all the data centers. They follow Azure stuff. Most of them, they have the PSS and DSS, PCI and DSS, which is a financial thing.
No one into legal and stuff like that.
So, yeah.
Okay, just look at that guy. He's looking mad. We have to stop.
Stop? Why? 2 minutes? No, 2 minutes.
Okay, then go to Azure. We'll be there as well. Probably less funny because we're more drunk then. You are more drunk. Well, anyway, you get started at windowsazure.com and feel free to experiment with all this fancy cloud stuff. Thank you.
Please stay in the room. Thank you very much.